Olympia, I swear you're 6 inches taller than you were at practice.
Yes.
Larry, you're down, dog. I think that's a compliment. Oh, goodness. Thank you for being here today. It's Mother's Day. We want to acknowledge some of our folks aren't here today. Of course, they're over at the Baptist Church with their mothers. But those of you that are here that are mothers, we want to acknowledge you. So I want to ask you to stand, and that is the mothers that are the traditional mothers, plus our foster mothers, our stepmothers, and anyone else that sees themselves in the essence of mother. Please stand and be acknowledged. Thank you. So I want to begin by sharing some of the historical significance of Mother's Day. Mother's Day was founded by a woman named Anna Jarvis. She lived in Grafton, West Virginia. And she was not a mother, but she had a mother. Not surprising. And she wanted this holiday to acknowledge and honor her mother. Her mother was Ann Jarvis, without the A. And she was a dedicated organizer and philanthropist. She founded what was known as Mother's Day work clubs in West Virginia, in 5 cities in West Virginia, for the purpose of improving sanitation and health conditions for families. The clubs actually hired women to help families with sick mothers and created programs for testing the quality of milk. This was long before the Food and Drug Administration was around. During the Civil War, Ann's clubs provided aid to injured soldiers. So Anna had this quest of honoring her mother. And 2 years after her mother passed on May 12th in 1907, Anna handed out white carnations to all the mothers at her church in Grafton. And then after years and years of lobbying in Washington, President Woodrow Wilson honored Anna's request, declaring Mother's Day a national holiday that would be celebrated on the second Sunday of every May. That's why we have Mother's Day. It's probably why we have Father's Day, too, because once you had the Mother's Day, you had to do the Father's Day. Anyway, so here's the interesting part of the story. By the 1920s, florists and candy makers were capitalizing on the holiday so much that it really upset Anna. She spent the rest of her life fighting the commercialization of Mother's Day, and in 1925, in her 70s, she was arrested for disturbing the peace at a confectioner's convention in Philadelphia. Which speaks to the whole idea of this mother thing. Because there is the idolized sense of what mothers are, and then there's my mom. They're not the same. But there's some great stuff in this idolized idea of what Mother's Day was about. The first spot of that really just comes for what you say is synonymous to the maternal. And the words that come up if you research that are caring, gentle, tender, affectionate, warm, loving, and protective. None of which are exclusively feminine, but that's what we identify as maternal in that idealized sense. The Native Americans have long had a relationship with the feminine as the planet that we live on. Pachamama, Tierra Madre, Mother Earth, Earth Mother, all kinds of ways to say that. So I did myself a little research on how that relates, and here's what I came up with. Every particle of our bodies came from this earth plane. Every breath we take comes out of her atmosphere. Everything that we eat comes from the abundance that is created through this planet. Every step that we take on our journey is on the surface of this planet, unless you happen to be an astronaut. For the most part, that's what we do. We abuse her, and yet she forgives us and heals herself. Everything about our experience in this life on this planet has that maternal aspect to it, that we are inextricably connected to this one. And in the same way, we are inextricably connected to the one that gave birth to us. And we are connected, our mothers are connected to those that she gives birth to, no matter what. no matter what the relationship is like. There's that connection, that bond that cannot be broken. I think one reason that so many people get angry with their mothers is because you can't break that bond. That's part of your experience here on planet Earth in your human body, that you have a relationship with this woman. Whether you like it or not, doesn't matter. That's the way it works. So when I teach people to let go of the issues of their past and take them through process work, I have people write down every name of everyone that they ever felt controlled by. That's a fair way to say it. And that includes, spouses, old relationships, teachers. The list is long, but the list always begins with mom. It's the way it is. It's the nature of human interaction, but there has to be some stuff there. There has to be something to work out there. And that's okay. That's the value of it. When you look at the science of mind and we identify this maternal presence in our teaching, we go to the symbol. And the place where we find the feminine, anybody want to guess? In the middle. In the middle, because it's the place that receives the impress of our thought and turns it into something real. Think about that. That's a very feminine action. It's a very maternal action. And it's a good thing. It's a wonderful way to see and express this maternal aspect of life in the creative process. It's a good thing that we can give an idea to this thing we call the law. Okay, let's admit it. Maternal is synonymous with law. And in the midst of that, something is created. Something wonderful comes out of that. So anybody that is still working on stuff with your mom, take another breath and recognize that wouldn't have happened if it weren't for that woman, wherever she was, whatever she did. Here's another piece that really looks like, that comes to our teaching and demonstrates the feminine. It comes from our Declaration of Principles, which Ernest Holmes wrote back, I think, in the 1930s, maybe a little after that. He wrote, "We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of life to all." If you think about it, that really works. The eternal goodness is that affirming natural state of being in life. The eternal loving kindness is the nurturing of spirit unto itself, and the eternal givingness is the naturally expanding presence of spirit, spirit giving to spirit, all living in that feminine, maternal aspect of living. These are all beautiful, idealized concepts. And then we go back to that one that was our mom, or is our mom. And certainly I do that. My mother was one of the most generous and self-indulgent people I ever met. My dad didn't make a lot of money. He actually maintained jukeboxes for a living. We scraped by. But every night my mom would cook more food than we could eat, and then would wrap up the leftovers and send them 2 doors down to a neighbor, where the father made way more money than my dad. And those folks would sit down there and wait for their dinner. It was amazing to me. And it was done in a joyous, wonderful way. And still, I scratch my head, how come they get our food? It's just the way she was. That was part of her. She needed to do that to feel whole. And then, if things didn't go her way, she'd let you know it in a heartbeat. Anybody. Didn't matter. Nobody was special about that. Everybody fell into those crosshairs at one time or another. And she grew up with her mother died when she was 12. So she grew up with an angry father who married a woman that didn't like her. So do I not give her the credit for doing the best she could? I actually believe that our parents do not do the best they could. They do the only thing they could have. And what they gave us was what we needed. It's our job to interpret it and turn it into something that works for us. So the reality of life as a mother may not look like the idealized thing that we think of as mother. Nonetheless, we are getting everything that we could possibly require from that one that gave us physical form in this life. That idea of the earth, of us being on this planet and breathing in and eating from the planet reminds me so much of a fetus in the body of a woman, requiring that the well-being of the mother is equal to the well-being of that child that is coming forth. It is totally reliant. No other way in life are we that reliant on another human being. So it's a special thing. And even though I'm sure for many of you here, it is a complex and mystifying relationship, because God knows mine was, it's still important and worth honoring. So what I want to do for the next few minutes is just share a few little stories that I found about relationships that people have had with their mother, and let them just kind of wash over you. Now, when I read these to Barbara this morning, I didn't have a problem when I found them and put them together, but when I read them, Barbara, I had to compose myself several times, so that's probably going to happen again. But just let this be with you for a few minutes. 35 years ago, when my mom was 22, she became a widow and a mother within the same month. The life she imagined was gone in a heartbeat. She tried to move on, but she was lost. So she gave me to my father's family to be raised. Some call her weak, others call her selfish. I could be mad and bitter. Instead, I'm grateful for a life I have, and to have had a mother who sacrificed our relationship to give me a chance for a better life. I call her courageous. She's my mom. I was chosen to be your mama, she tells her 4-year-old daughter, as her younger twin boys pull on her clothes. Her daughter looks at her tearfully and asks, "Why couldn't I grow up in your tummy like my brothers?" "Well," she explains, choking back her own tears, "the doctor said I couldn't grow a baby in my tummy, so your daddy and I decided to adopt a baby. That baby is you." She holds her breath and waits for a more difficult question. Younger brothers. "Could I have some ice cream?" the little girl asks. "Yes," she says, thankful for her daughter's innocence. The day I was dreading had arrived. It was inevitable. I had seen it coming, but had chosen to ignore it for as long as possible. My very capable, intelligent mom had started forgetting to pay her bills. It was time for me to take over her finances. As I looked through her wallet, I made a remarkable discovery. Tucked away in a tiny compartment, there were 4 Mother's Day poems I had written for her in the 1960s. She had saved and cherished those simple gifts for over 50 years. Who would have known? Growing up in communist Europe, subsistence living was the norm. Yet some had it harder than others. When she was a young adult on her own, my mom knew a very poor blind woman who had a young daughter. The woman had no support from her family, so my mom loaned the woman all her savings. Although Mom worried that she'd done the wrong thing, the woman miraculously returned every cent. 2 decades later, when we came to America as refugees, the Catholic Church gave her money to feed her children, meaning her mother. As soon as she could, she returned every single cent, and we, her children, continue to pay back through our support of Catholic worldwide charities. Mom is in her 90s now and has had a richly blessed life. My mother was my best friend. She loved cardinals, especially the red males. When she got sick with pancreatic cancer and knew death was near, she told me to always look for the red cardinal. That would be her. I never paid much attention to that statement. I was too busy becoming an adult. Now, 25 years later, whenever I feel at wit's end, there seems to be a cardinal flying past me or perched on a nearby tree. Is it coincidence or is it my mother? All these years later, letting me know that everything is okay. I think I'll take the latter. Complex, mystical, challenging, fulfilling. This idea of mothers is extraordinary. It's a spiritual connection. So whatever you're thinking today of your mother, think the good thoughts. Think the happy times. And let go of the rest. And that will serve you every day of your life. Thank you, Mom.
Have come forward. Who's here for the very first time? Who came to Center for Spiritual Living Asheville for the first time today? Raise your hand if you're here. Welcome, 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 welcome. 3 people right in a row in the middle. Wonderful. And oh, Judith's friend from Long Beach. Welcome. I forgot your name, but I knew you're Judith's friend. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Center for Spiritual Living Asheville, a place that sees God in your eyes, where miracles are an everyday occurrence. Welcome to a place where if you choose to come here or a place like this, your life will get better and better and better. I'm so grateful for the energy that we hold and the ability that we have to see through experiences and find the divine in it all. And I'm so delighted that you came. These wonderful people are giving you a card that says, welcome home. If you would like to know more about this center and the things that happen here, you can fill out your name and address and email address. If you only want email, just check that little box and we'll let you know all the great things that are happening. And in the meantime, welcome to Center for Spiritual Living Asheville. I'm very glad that you're here today. Thank you. And now I'd like to invite our prosperity acceptors to come forward. Take out what you're going to give. Those of you watching online, all 10,600 of you last month, you too can donate to Center for Spiritual Living by going to the Donate Now button. It'll take you right to PayPal. Whatever you give, know that it is appreciated. And for all of you here in this room, whether you give through the donation station in the social hall, whether you're part of our auto giving program, whether your bank mails in checks, whether you're flashing the QR code on the back of the program, or whether you're putting something in these baskets, know that I am very grateful. Your generous support today and every day allows us to literally touch the lives of hundreds of thousands of people around this world. Your generous support today and every day allows us to give people halfway around the world the tools to feed their family, to create heaven on earth, and to expand into greater levels of awareness of joy and love and peace. Thank you. So knowing that God is the source of all supply, that money is the action and flow of spirit in our lives, I know that this gift is blessed. I know that we all come together this day to help make this center all that it ever was meant to be. It is a place of peace, a beacon of light, a tower of strength, and a fountain of wisdom that touches the lives of all who call it home. And we'll repeat our investment affirmation together aloud. I freely and joyously give from the abundance and fullness of my overflowing wealth, knowing my gift goes with love as it touches and blesses the world. And so it is. because anytime we give anything, whether it's a hug or a hand, whether it's money or a chance, that which we are goes with our gift. God as us, moving through each and every one of us, filling up this room from the floor to the ceiling and all between the walls. This air is rich and blessed with God as us, and as Spirit moves in our lives, things happen. So right here and right now, each and every one of us is touched. We are blessed, and we are healed. And I know that that energy then continues to go out from this amazing room of wonderful people and fantastic teachings to surround this world, to touch, to bless, and to heal every being on this planet. Always here, always now, touching every one of us here today, everyone who has ever been here, and everyone yet to come. And so it is.